Well, we're going to go ahead and get started because I want to honor your guys' time. Thank you all for joining us, those of you that are with us, to our second Family and Support System chat. Why? Oh, there we go. So my name is Denise Giesbers, and I'm the director for a couple of different offices: Orientation, Transfer Student Services, Greek Life, and I co-coordinate Veteran Services with Justin Li, who is my co-host today, and he also has some other titles. So I'll let you introduce yourself, Justin.
Hi, and welcome. So I'm Justin Li. I'm Manager of Student Support for Pacific. I also provide graduate student services. I sit on a few of the committees, University Diversity Committee, the Hillsborough Interprofessional Diversity Committee, and I am the advisor to the Student Interprofessional Diversity Coalition, along with, as Denise mentioned, Veteran Services.
As you can tell at Pacific, we play a number of roles, and we love each one of them. So a little bit of housekeeping. Please leave your sound on mute. If you have a question, please put it in the chat bar. You can either send it directly to Justin or I, or if it's something you want everybody to see, feel free to do that. And we will answer those as they come up within the presentation. So our goals for today are really to give you some information, resources, and tips, just general check-in, answer your questions, and just be a part of the Boxer community together as we go through this unprecedented time in our history. So I'd like to introduce our special guest today, Leslie Limper, who's our Director of Financial Aid. Thank you. And I'm going to stop sharing so you can share your presentation.
Okay. Okay, Denise, am I sharing?
You are. You're good to go. Take it away.
Excellent. Thank you. Well, thank everyone for coming and being a part of this conversation today. We do miss seeing our students and feel kind of isolated at home, so it's great to just see everyone here today. I'm just going to give you a brief financial aid update and let you know what's going on. Oh. I'm having technical difficulties of advancing my slide.
If you use the arrow, okay, there you
go. There we go. So we're here. The financial aid office is all here, and we're working remotely to help all of you. And we are here to help. Even though the financial aid office is physically closed, we are working 9 to 5 and Monday through Friday. And you can reach us by emailing financialaid@pacificu.edu, or if you know your individual financial aid counselor's email, of course, you can contact them individually. The financial aid email is being monitored, and if you don't know your individual counselor's name, then the person who's monitoring will get your email to the right person. We do have up-to-date financial aid information available through Boxer online through the financial aid self-service. So you can go online and view either this year's financial aid or next year's financial aid. It might be a good idea to just double check, make sure that your 2020-21 application is complete. We're starting to work on those applications for next year for the upcoming academic year. And so we have listed everything that is needed to complete your file. If you go on the Boxer Online Financial Aid Self-Service, you'll see if we need anything else to complete your application for next year. I know that everyone has a lot of questions, and we have a few answers. We have probably more questions than we have answers, but we do have some reassuring answers. And so I'm hoping that we can provide a little bit of reassurance today. We have been getting a lot of questions from families. My financial situation has changed. What should I do? How will my financial aid be affected for next year? students and parents are worried about student loan payments and what if they can't make a payment, and just needing some more information. Everyone is needing some more information, and so hopefully I can provide you with some resources where you can stay on top of what's happening. We have a lot of families who have changing financial circumstances, and I want to assure families that changing financial circumstances will be taken into consideration. And there's a lot of uncertainty. We have a lot of uncertainty. I know that families out there have a lot of uncertainty. You're unsure about the future. Pacific is currently working on evaluating resources to see just what is available to help. One of the things we'll get into a little bit later is the CARES Act that was signed into law a couple of days ago has provided some resources for students, and we just got that information today. And so I'll share that a little bit later in the presentation. We also have federal regulations that we have to follow that require any adjustments to be documented. And so we do have to collect documentation from families in order to consider families for more financial aid. With all of this uncertainty, we know that families don't really know what the future holds for them. And so we're kind of holding off on the reevaluation process until June 1st. So families have time to collect that information, start thinking about what the impact is going to be, both short-term and long-term on their family, kind of collect all of the information that we need to reevaluate eligibility for financial aid. This will not just be a one-time thing. We are going to be doing reevaluations, I'm sure. It's going to be an ongoing process throughout the academic year next year as people adjust, to whatever happens. I remember I was working at a different college back in 2008 and during the recession. And we actually did reevaluations, starting in March of 2008 and going through, 2009, because it was a changing situation. So we'll be doing this throughout the year. So don't worry that you're going to miss out on anything. We are starting to work on the 2021 financial aid packages. And so if you filed your FAFSA by our March 1st deadline, those are the students that we're working on. And what we do is we work on financial aid packages for next year in the order in which we received the FAFSA. And so if you filed your application on October 1st, you're in that first group. Anyway, we're working our way through those. And we anticipate that we will be able to start posting those, and I say start posting, beginning the first week of May for students, for College of Arts and Sciences students. Those initial awards will include any scholarships that a student applied for through the online application process. So for example, if a student applied for the Boxer Spirit, which is one of our big scholarships, then we will include that information in the award notice that we send to students. We probably will not include any reevaluation requests in this first initial response, just like I said, so we can give families time to collect the information that we need. If you are a graduate student, continuing financial aid packages for graduate students are going out as we speak. We've already sent some, and we will continue to send those. And generally, those are done based on which programs start first. So some of those programs have a summer start, and so we're doing those first, and then we work our way through those applications. As I mentioned a couple of minutes ago, there was a CARES Act that was passed by Congress and signed by the President a few days ago. That CARES Act provides federal legislation provides funds to institutions to use for direct grants to students. Today we found out how much that is, and it's a little bit over $1 million. And so we do have some funds to help students out with their expenses. if they have expenses this year or next year, we do have some funding. And we are all talking about what is the best way to distribute that to students, what's the most equitable way. And right now, how you can help us out with that in terms of making sure that we identify all of the students who are in need of additional funding is just send us an email or send to financialaid@pacificu.edu or to your individual financial aid counselor. And we are collecting all of those emails and making sure that we keep that information on file. That CARES legislation funds will be distributed to students through their financial aid packages, and so that will become a part of the financial aid package, just a lot like the Pell Grant or some other of those federal grant programs. We also have a Pacific Student Emergency Fund, and this is new. We have had some gracious donors who have come to us with some money saying they want to help students out who are having difficulties. So I've provided the link for the Student Emergency Fund. That is a fund students are able to apply for up to $500 through that fund to help out with emergency expenses. The application is in a couple of places, but if you go on to Pacific's website and click on financial aid, we've included that information in our COVID-19 questions. And so there's a link for the application, pretty short application, and those are going to be reviewed probably on a daily basis. We're going to try and get back to students right away. We do also let students know about outside scholarships, and what we have started to do is to post those on social media. And so you can follow us on Twitter or friend us on Facebook or join us on Instagram. Our name or I don't know the proper social media term, but you can find us at Pacific U FinAid. And that's where you'll learn about outside scholarships. We'll keep you posted on all of the CARES Act information, additional funds that are available. So we recommend that you follow one of those social media so that you can get the most up-to-date information. That's where we'll be posting deadlines to and additional resources that are available to students. A lot of students are coming up on graduation and they're concerned about student loans. A lot of our parents are already paying on student loans that they've borrowed for their students. And part of the CARES Act and some guidance from the Department of Education has come out on student loan relief. And the best source of information for student loan relief is your student loan servicer. If you do not know who your student loan servicer is, you can find out by logging into studentaid.gov with your FSA ID. That's the ID you use to file your FAFSA. A student loan servicer is, some of them are like Great Lakes, Navient, Nelnet. When you take out a student loan, your loan is assigned to a servicer by the Department of Education, and that servicer is going to be the agency that collects your loans and helps you with any questions that you might have. If you have not yet created an account with your student loan servicer, you don't even have to be in repayment to create an account. If you have not created an account with your student loan servicer, I really recommend that you go ahead and do that, because that's the portal. You'll create an online account. That's the portal that you'll log into. You can see what's happening with your student loans. So the type of relief that has been given to students is interest has been temporarily suspended until September 30th, 2020. So right now, no student loan is accruing interest, which is great news for borrowers. And payments have also been temporarily suspended through September 30th, 2020. The nice thing is you don't even have to do anything to get those payments suspended. I would recommend that you check your email regularly because you will be getting information from your student loan servicer. For example, I have Parent Plus loans. I have 2 boys that graduated a couple of years ago, still paying on those Parent Plus loans. And I just got an email from my loan servicer. I have two. Navient is one and Great Lakes is the other. The boys went to different schools, and they have both informed me that they have suspended my loan payments automatically until September 30th. Now, that doesn't mean that you don't have to stop making loan payments. If you feel like you want to go ahead and do that, you can make them manually through your through the online portal, and you'll actually pay your loan off quicker, because right now there's no interest accruing. All of that money that you pay is going to go directly to principal. So if you do have the funds to do that and you want to continue making those payments, you can certainly do that. But this is very important relief for families that have had a change in their financial circumstances, and right now they don't have to worry about those student loans. I've given you some additional resources here. The federal student aid address that I've given you, studentaid.gov /announcements events coronavirus. That's where all of the student loan relief is listed. It has information about the CARES Act. It just has a lot of good advice. And if you either are applying for federal aid or you're receiving federal aid, that's a good kind of touch point to go in, make sure you understand everything that is happening. We in the financial aid office have prepared our own list of questions and answers that we hope will be helpful. We're taking them from questions that we get daily from students and families. The university also has a COVID-19 information page, and that has a lot of the academic information that students and families will need. And then again, if you have questions or need additional resources, please do not hesitate to email us at financialaid@pacificu.edu. Just contact us. Like I said, we're here to help. And I'm happy to answer any questions. If you have any questions, you can go ahead and ask them through the chat. If you do you have any personal questions that you don't want to share with the rest of the people on the call, like I said, feel free to email us at financialaid@pacificu.edu. I'm going to turn it back over to Denise, and I will take a look at the questions if anyone has any.
Thank you so much. I just got asked if we could paste those links into the general chat. Leslie, could you paste the ones from your PowerPoint into the chat?
I sure will. Yeah, I'll do
Thank
that right now.
All right, let me just share my screen here again. Thank you again so much, Leslie, for being our guest speaker today. It's, some great information and some things that will really help all of our students moving forward.
Oh, definitely.
Let me just get all this stuff back up so I can see what I'm doing here. All right. So Leslie already mentioned these web addresses. There's an additional one I want to mention as well. So we have the General Pacific website, coronavirus. It's right at the top. When you go to Pacific's website, you'll see a link at the very, very top. Another resource that's available that also links off the main coronavirus website is one that goes to Student Life. And on Student Life there's additional COVID-19 resources, a facts and questions page of some of the information and things that we've been getting. And then you've already been the financial aid COVID-19 ones that Leslie has already provided you. Just one moment. I want to make sure that we answer this question. Leslie, I'm sending you a question, so if you want to take a few minutes to read that, and when you're ready to answer, let us know. So while Leslie is reading that, I would like to have Justin talk a little bit about our Office of Student Support.
Great, thank you. The Office of Student Support basically is the go-to place for anybody who's having pretty much any kind of problem. We get reports from all over the university, or people come to us directly, and that's mental health, financial, academic, I mean, what have you. And part of what we do is kind of help triage with students or with family members to connect to the appropriate resource. So often that's me directly, and I work with students around some learning support skills, time management, some relational things, but not anything that is clinical or should go to the counseling center, guiding people through the academic processes and advising administrative withdrawals, all sorts of things. So we're a really good place to start if you have nowhere else to go, or you're not really sure who the question should go to. We can certainly figure it out. And one of the things that I do want to call your attention to is, Denise, can you show browser page? Okay, so at the very bottom of every Pacific page, no matter where you are, is this gray area. And if you go to that support at Pacific, that's actually a button that, so we're not asking for money. People have said that to us, is that sounds like you're asking for a donation. That's actually where we listed all of our support resources. So as you can see, bunch of things, but for parents, what's going to be really helpful and useful is on the left there, it says public care report. So the care system is basically our internal database where we track any reports about concerns of students. And this public report is where you or anybody else in the community can put in information about a student. So currently we are asking for, if you have any loved ones who were affected by COVID-19 or who passed away, we'd like to know about that. But throughout the year, it can be simple things like, hey, I haven't heard from my son or daughter. Can somebody check up on them to, or when they were home at Christmas, they said these things that were concerning and I'd like some help. That's where you can go, and those messages come to myself and the Dean of Students. If you have any questions, feel free to put those into the group chat.
Yes, I should unmute myself. Thank you so much, Justin. Oh, okay, so before I get to that, we did have a question. It says, are there any instances where refunds will be issued? And all of that information can be found on the COVID-19 webpage. If there are any of those refunds available, some housing situations, there may be the graduation fee, any of that information will be listed on there. Your other option is you can call the business office who may have more additional information as they're starting to process any of those that may have come in. We have another question. It says, where should student workers seek help? Is there anyone on campus to help with unemployment? So there's a couple of answers to that. So our Career Development Center is always available to help any student who is searching for work and that type of thing. If they are a current student that has work study, our HR department is working with those students and their supervisors to help provide opportunities and help them earn those fundings. And the second part about unemployment, there are some resources that have recently come out, and I believe if you go to Human Resources has sent out some of that information to those students that are currently working. If you don't find what you're looking for there and you need additional assistance, feel free to reach out to myself or Justin, and we can help connect you with some of those resources. Are these links going to be available after the Zoom meeting ends? All of these links are already on the website. I know sometimes it's a little hard to navigate our website, but if you go to the coronavirus link there on the main page. All of this information is there. We also will post these family chats that we're doing online. We're just working, it's taking a little bit of time to get that all processed and up on the website. So I'm hoping by early next week, we'll have the first 2 of these up there. All right, so tip for the week, creating a routine. You know, how does a new normal look? It's gonna be different these days than it typically is, or if you're me, it may actually look the same, who knows? But some things that are helpful for us to help remind our students of is, you know, set a schedule for getting up and getting ready in the morning. There is some research out there that says if you get up and get ready in the morning just like you normally would, your day may be better. So getting good nutrition and sleep. For anybody who has a student currently in this area, our food pantry is available if anybody is having issues with food insecurity. And there was information that went out to your students about that. That's also on the coronavirus page. You know, build in some time for self-care, taking a walk, chatting with a friend, whatever that may be for you. I've decided that we all should get really dressed up every day, you know, put on those blingy things like I have on there, and then do some chats with people and just see what they say. Reduce the amount of time on social media and restrict the amount of news consumption, especially if it makes you anxious. Also, it's really helpful if you do that at least an hour before bed. Social connections, you know, that's super, super important. We're always talking to students about, you know, connecting with people. It just looks a little differently these days. As you can tell, I had a little chat with my friend there the other night, and it was a wonderful thing. The other thing that I want to remind you is, you know, remind your student that the way they've always done things might not be working for them right now, and that's okay. We're all trying to adjust and adapt, and it just may take a little bit of extra time, but there are resources and people for them to talk to if they're truly, really struggling with that, or they're just not sure what to do. So my office assistant is starting to go a little stir crazy, so I wanted to share this with you. This is her daily distraction these days. Oh, so thank you all for being here, asking your questions. Are there any more questions that you'd like to ask? Please put them into the chat real quick. I'd also like to invite you next week on Thursday at 4 o'clock. Our Dean of the College of Arts and Sciences, Sarah Phillips, will be joining us to answer some of those additional questions about all the academic pieces that are currently happening. I know there's been some questions about how are grades going to be, how is my student adapting with their online classes, what are you doing for summer courses? So all of that information will be answered. It's also already on the website, but if you have additional questions, please feel free to join us next week. I'd also like to highlight that on the bottom of the Student Life page, there is a Contact Us button. Any of these questions or anything in general, you can submit to us so we can address them, and we will return that information directly back to you. All right, so I'm going to stop sharing this. Does anybody else have any final parting words or questions that they have? Nope. All right. Nope. You all are so very welcome. Thank you for being here. And yes, we will try to send out the email reminder. Hopefully it'll come out a day or so earlier. You know, we're all adjusting and working from home, and it's easy to forget things, which we've been doing, but we're working on it just like everybody else is. All right. Thank you all, and we will see you soon.
Take care.